our one, Chimamanda Adichie, she don't finally come outside, come address Nigerians. When I remember say after she drop her letter, after she write to US President Joe Biden, as he take touch the February 25th presidential election inside Nigeria. Now so everybody, including those where they say that they win the election, start to the run kitty kitty kata kata woto woto. Now she now finally come outside, come address Nigerians. But before I carry on enter that interview, which she grant on top Arise TV, I want make una help me watch one video. I'm gonna watch this video.
When you have one of your own being a global ambassador representing a country where ordinarily role models are rare to find, what we have in today is that those who are least in us have become our role models, and those that we should celebrate, we're not celebrating them. So we're celebrating the opposite, and that's why we're not developing. So we need to do it quickly by reversing that. Imagine one of yours being on a global stage and being celebrated.
Absolutely.
And that's what Nigerians should emulate and celebrate.
And Chimamanda, how does it feel to have your governor standing beside you?
Well, fantastic. As you can see, this is what happens when I'm happy. I start to talk rubbish. But it means so much to me that he's here. I call him my governor because he always will be. Not only was he a wonderful governor in Anambra State, changed things in Anambra, but he's become my big brother. So it feels as though my big brother came to support me, and I'm just happy. And you can see that his red tie kind of matches my thing.
Absolutely.
So we planned it.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations. Congratulations.
Beautiful. When you identify with your people as a leader, you will forever remain golden in their hearts. Maybe now one of the days, when Chimamanda they collect one of her honorary doctorate. English is my language. I go talk anyway why I know. Honorary doctorate. Maybe now one of the days when she they collect them, now Peter Obi come out from nowhere to identify with her. And say, this is my daughter in whom I am well pleased. She is a proud daughter of Anambra State and a proud daughter of Nigeria, and that is why I am here. How many of our leaders they identify with Nigerians? We don't make us proud on the international scene. How many of them? When we say when they want honor them, our leaders will come outside, come stand with them. Identify with them and say, this is our beloved son or daughter in whom we are well pleased. How many? I beg, if you know anyone, tell me for comment section. Did you hear me? Go there, go talk. How many? But this is a man like Peter Obi, identifying with his people on the international scene. So most of them, when they say, why is Chimamanda romancing with Peter Obi? Now the reason be this. Now the leader we know in onions. I don't speak good English now. Now the leader we know in onions how to lead in people. Now make I talk this advice, give everybody. Those of you when they talk say a woman education end in the kitchen. Okay, Chimamanda, oh she na kitchen the end abi. Train your daughters, so train them well, so that they will be somebody, and they can make us proud on the international scene. Train them well, so that tomorrow, maybe on top Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, they go to shake nyash. The only way they know is to shake nyash, big bum and talk about sex. No, that is what they have reduced our women to in Nigeria now. Enter social media, now nyash food there. Big nyash will be like watermelon. Now them food there. Intellect no day. Account uche brain, you know there inside though. Now the only thing where they sabi, shake nyash, shake nyash, shake nyash. Those who like they go call them, knock them money, they don't finish. Nyash and sex. That is what they have reduced the female folks to. So Biko, train your female children well. Use Chimamanda Adichie as an example. If you like her style, train your daughters well. Now, make we enter the real matter. Where we say, why she write that letter? Chimamanda, that letter where you write, give U.S. President Joe Biden. Why you write the letter? I make you find out why Chimamanda write that letter. I'm gonna watch.
Well, I see that when I wrote that letter, because I think it's important to preserve the truth. Right? I think that when something like this happens in a country, it's really important to tell the story of what happened. One of my favorite poems has this line, it's by Robert Lowell, and it says, "And yet, why not say what happened?" So I wanted to say what happened. And what happened is that this was an election that was really unforgivably flawed. And there's evidence for that. And I felt it was important to say that. But also I wanted to call out the US for what I consider a kind of two-facedness when it comes to Africa. So the US has a long history of complicity in sort of non-democratic elections on this continent. So recently in Congo, 2 or 3 years ago, they endorsed an election that was an absolute sham. But then the same US will turn around and criticize Congo for not being democratic. And so my point was to say, be what you say you are. Right? You cannot criticize African countries for being undemocratic, while at the same time endorsing something that is quite self-evidently undemocratic. Yes, and I think maybe the most glaring is that we Nigerians all saw these mutilated election sheets, right? We all saw them. We saw polling unit agents talking about how what they had from the polling unit was not what was then announced formally, officially, or uploaded formally, officially. And I think for me that's a really striking reason and an example of how this election was not about technical glitches. And can we also realize that Nigeria is full of very bright young people in tech? There's no reason for that excuse of technical glitch. And the other question then is, if it was a technical glitch, why was it possible for most people to upload the results of the other federal elections, but not the presidential? And I think most of all is that there's just been this resounding unfortunate silence from INEC and from the chair of INEC. I think Nigerians deserve the respect of an institution that's supposed to shepherd their democracy. So nobody's come out to explain to Nigerians how that happened. There's a statement about technical glitches. It's unconvincing. And knowing how much hope and trust that Nigerians invested in this election, knowing that Nigeria is a low-trust society, means, I think, that if people really are sincere and there's really nothing to hide, then you make an extra effort to go out and explain to Nigerians what happened.
Nice one, nice one. All of them are way there for there, even America. You cannot come out and be criticizing Africans for being undemocratic, whereas you they support things where they undemocratic inside Africa. Is that not two-faced? No be two-faced. You go criticize Africa for being undemocratic, but when things where they undemocratic happen, you go still support them. So where you dey? Where exactly are you? So be what you are. On a democracy they work. If democracy don't they work for other places, speak up. Not when they do things that are undemocratic, you go castigate them. But you go still support the undemocratic act. What is the sup now? Where you stand? Where you from? Now where did the verse Chimamanda Adichie? Now why he write that letter? Because why would you come out on a spokesperson for on a Department of State? Come out after the election, after they don't declare Tinubu on the 1st of March by 4 a.m. when people they sleep. You come out, they congratulate Tinubu after you don't see everything will happen. The voter suppression, the election violence, everything, the threats will happen. You still acknowledge them, say all these things happen. You still congratulate, say, and a president-elect be this. Is that not being two-faced? Is it democratic? When I go there undemocratic, because they attack Africa, say we are undemocratic. Chimamanda Adichie also talk inside that video. She talks, say, look, there were no technical glitches as claimed by INEC. Say, if technical glitches there, why Senate go? They transmit Senate electronically, transmit House of Rep electronically. A rich president, now the technical glitch, the wizard, what they call technical glitch, now he grab beavers. Say we even get the brightest brains in this country. to handle any technical glitch. So why is Alex saying there was a technical glitch, and now why they don't stand by what them talk say they go do? Una say una go transmit election result real time, transmit them. You say na technical glitch. Now waiting now this truth is verse Chimamanda Adichie. He writes, give Joe Biden. Say look, if nobody is telling you the truth, me or Delo or one, I go tell una the truth. Why is Chimamanda Adichie an Obi-dient? Why should they support Peter Obi? Why is she an Obi-dient? Make we listen to Chimamanda Adichie. I'm gonna watch.
I did not support Peter Obi because he's Igbo as I am. I'm a person who does not take positions lightly. And so while I very much admire Peter Obi, respect him, there are many other Igbo men who I admire and respect, and I would never vote for them for president because I just don't think they would make good presidents. And so my support for Peter Obi is actually rooted in real things. It's rooted in my faith in his ability. And actually, I got to know him, I got to know Peter Obi years ago when he came to pay homage to my parents, because he had heard that my father was the first professor of statistics in Nigeria and that my mother had retired as the first female registrar of the University of Nigeria. And so this man just sort of arrived and said he wanted to pay homage. And I was very impressed by that because it showed me how much he values education. And then he becomes governor of Anambra State, and he takes Anambra State to #1 in education. And I remember being very impressed by the story of how he had given his personal phone number to all of the senior prefects in secondary schools in Anambra, which I think also showed me that he's interested in what ordinary people think, right? You don't just want to hear from the administrators, you want to hear from the students about what's really happening. And his focus on insecurity, he really tackled kidnapping in Anambra. And I also remember that he really sort of clashed with the Anambra elite when he was tackling insecurity and kidnapping. And that showed me that he's quite decisive. He even has a bit of a stubborn streak. He's very focused on things. And so that's really why I support him. So this idea of sort of ethnicity is just really, again, I think it's a way of deflecting. Let's focus on what really matters. It's unfortunate that, and can I just say that I think that it's only one part of the political spectrum that is politicizing ethnicity, and I think it's very unfortunate. I don't think most people in Nigeria really care about ethnicity as much as they care about having a country that works. We want good leadership. We want the hospitals and the schools and the roads to be good. And and that affects everyone. Igbo, Yoruba, Ijo, it affects everyone.
It's not about ethnicity. When they hear me, when I hear her inside that video, she say the first time when she even acknowledged Peter Obi, now when he come pay homage, come pay respect to him parents, Chimamanda talk say him papa now the first professor of statistics in Nigeria, and mama the first female registrar of a Nigerian university in this country. So Peter Obi come pay homage to them. Say, look, my people are keeping up to the standard. They are breaking records. So that's the first time he meet them. And say he's the man that loves education. And then you can see the things he did with education in Anambra State. Transformed the education. Took Anambra State from last to #1 in WAEC. Una hear them, abi? So that the things what this man do. Say all the senior prefects inside Anambra State get Peter Obi number. So that if anything go wrong in their school, they go call him. Oga, see what is happening, and he will come to their aid. He played grassroots politics. He not go sit down for government house. He was everywhere to make sure that things were working. All of now we know Anambra State. When I know say, now there, rich men plenty for this country pass. So for you to be a governor in that state, you go this strong. When they hear me, he was able to control these people and govern them. All these millionaires, billionaires, he governed them in Anambra State. Insecurity, he tackled it. Now they hear me. All this kidnapping and all of them. He took them off the way as a governor. He can make the state nice. The best road networks during a time. Now him run them. When they hear me. So these are the things. Who go get these kind of qualities as a leader? And your people no go love you. And they ask you the question now. Who go get these kind of qualities? And he will not be loved by his people. It's not about ethnicity. It's about your scorecard. Your scorecard. You hear me, ba? Peter Obi na one man. They don't use touch, search up, search. When they see where they go fit, nail them. Say, hey, okay, you do this one. They don't see anything. Nothing they see. Now why? They don't find plan B now. Will be blackmail. Make a carry on enter another matter. Where Chimamanda address inside that interview. Chimamanda been react to the comments where Wole Soyinka, Professor Wole Soyinka, been make as he take touch waiting Senator Babadati Ahmed talk on Top Channels TV. You understand? Senator Babadati Ahmed now the running mate to Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party. Make una remember say now that Ahmed come outside on Top National TV talk say, look, if we swear in an unconstitutional government on 29th May, then democracy will be dead. What is his definition of undemocratic government? Now government will not meet the constitutional requirements. Of course, the constitution talks say for you to be declared the president of Nigeria, you must meet or you must win 25% in 24 states, including the FCT. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he no get 25% inside FCT. So, Babadati Ahmed, now why him talk that? He say, swear in Tinubu and you will kill democracy in this country. And now why Wole Soyinka attack him? Say, in statement, they near to treason. Say now, fascist. Make we hear waiting Chimamanda Adichie get to talk inside this matter. I'm going to watch.
I disagree very strongly with him about this particular issue. And actually, because I respect Professor Soyinka so much, I went back and watched the interview. I had watched it when it aired initially, but I went back and watched it because I thought, am I missing something? And I think fascist is a really strong word. You know, fascist actually often makes me think of Mussolini's Italy. But I think we use it now, you know, sort of to address this kind of authoritarianism that's often populist and right-wing, you know, like in Hungary and even the former American president. And when you look at those situations, you can see why they have been termed fascist. And I did not see any reason that Mr. Dati Baba Ahmed's interview would have been termed fascist. You know, I think he was making a very strongly felt point about the elections. What he was saying, which again I thought seemed fairly reasonable, is that if our democracy is rooted in our constitution, and you then swear in a person who's been elected unconstitutionally, then you are in fact ending democracy. I think it's quite a reasonable position. Of course, we can argue about what that bit in the constitution means, right? And I'm actually grateful for this whole election period because it's made me read things I probably never would have, such as the Nigerian Constitution, and also made me have quite a few suggestions for editing. But anyway, I think now we're talking about what does "and" mean, right? So Mr. Dati Baba Ahmed is saying that it's 2/3 and the FCT, and that's separate, and it's a reasonable argument. And is a conjunction. We use it in that context often to mean plural, right? So we say Aisha and Yemi are coming, and we don't say Aisha and Yemi is coming. That's because they're two separate things, two separate entities. And of course the court will interpret, but I don't think it's unreasonable for educated Nigerians who can read and who know what the word "and" means to make their own interpretations and to argue it. And of course, the fact that the Labour Party is in court means that they do not believe that this election is constitutional. And so I just didn't, I didn't quite see why it would be termed fascist. I mean, we could, I think a charitable way of reading Professor Soyinka's comment is that Professor Soyinka himself, I think it's fair to say that he is not given to restraint in language in general. And so maybe that's where that word fascist came from. However, I have suggestions for what we could use fascist for. We could use fascist for INEC, because as it is right now, many Nigerians feel deeply cheated by INEC, deeply disenfranchised by INEC. And there's an authoritarianism, which obviously is the basis of fascism, at the center of manipulating an election. Because what you're doing is you're gagging people, you're forcibly taking away their voice. That is fascist. Fascist is all of the violence that happened during the elections. Fascist is the way that some people remain silent about that violence. Fascist is, fascist is a government that hasn't come out to address the very tangible and palpable discontent in this country. I think that, and when I say that we can use fascist for INEC, what I mean is the fact that, so many of us, including myself, are convinced that this was not in any way technological glitch.
Chimamanda talks say he get respect for Wole Soyinka, Professor Wole Soyinka. Give respect to whom respect is due. Professor Wole Soyinka say you get respect for him, but say that in comments. It don't make sense. So say it no go way. Say how far now? How you go come and come talk that kind of thing? The man who even talk, will be Senator Babadati Ahmed. When see him talk, they wrong. Chimamanda even talk say because of the respect where you get for Wole Soyinka, he go back, go listen to waiting Senator Babadati Ahmed talk. Listen to waiting waiting be that name Wole Soyinka talk over and over again. Make you know waiting be the problem. Say you don't see anything. We go make and come and talk. Say the comment way Senator Babadati Ahmed make. Say na fascist. Say na near to treason. Say you don't see anything. Though. Say if there is anything to become fascist, inside this whole matter. Now, waiting INEC do Nigerians. The more you look, the less you see. They tell us things. Go do another thing. Say that is what is qualified to be called a fascist. Say all those people will come and call the 30 people. They do anyhow. Election violence and all of them. Say na fascist. Say na the things where we supposed come and come talk. Say no be say person come talk say if you swear in an unconstitutional government, we no meet with the requirements, the 25% of the total vote cast in the FCT to be sworn in as president. Say you will kill democracy. That one, nothing is bad about it. Nothing there bad about the comments. So leave them. Attack the main issues. Now Chimamanda Adichie, they talk that one. When I see also inside that video, I should take clear this argument of 25% inside the FCT. She say, and the word and, even if this people don't know English, at least this one they write book, you know English. He say and now conjunction. It can also mean plural, to express plural. You cannot say Obi and Ada is coming. No, now it's wrong. It's Obi and Ada are coming. Two of them, plural. So people will draft the constitution. Either say this is what they make this argument, say they mean say the 25%, say in a case like this, FCT will become a state. Maybe they don't know English. People will draft the law, they don't know English. Or people they make that argument, they don't know English. And then a conjunction, you are bringing two things together. So that and way they means say 25% inside FCT is a requirement. Now Odelo wa talk about Odelo wa Chimamanda Adichie. If you don't hear from any other person, but this one will be saying that English should be her work. She don't talk about. Una they hear me. So make una they calm down. No. All of una FFK and Keyamo, where they make all this noise, when they make on top social media, on top Twitter, they talk anyhow. They call for people arrest. They do anything. When I don't hear them now, where everything is still in the law courts, they go decide that. Make I end with this. This is a proud African woman, African Nigerian, Chimamanda Adichie. Look at that interview. Very simple English. She don't speak high, big English. Now, person who don't write books recognized all over the world. Naim, come and talk in simple English. But people will never get one recognition in this world. They go come out, come they blow English. They blow rubbish. Person like Patrick Obaho have been waiting. That Patrick man, that House of Rep man, we enter there now. It just they blow everybody. Are you more English than Chimamanda Adichie? But look at simple terms, simple English. Now what did she speak for there? Patrick go come they bamboozle our head with English up and down. Big words where we say, now learn from her. What they hear me? Communication is effective when if you talk, I understand you. As I they use pidgin, do this thing. I don't say not everybody hear English. Now why they use pidgin? So this pidgin why they talk now. Oh now, where be my Nigerian people? Oh now they hear them. You get anything why I don't want to understand. That is effective communication. Simple English. Learn from her. Odelowa has finally spoken to us. Chimamanda Adichie, you are truly a role model. My Nigerian people, let us hope. Keep hope alive. At the end of the day, we shall see lights at the end of the tunnel. And a new Nigeria is truly possible. I go see Ona later. I beg. If you like this update, subscribe to my channel. I beg. Biko, Ejo, Da Allah. Subscribe.